Okay, so we're just going to go over a couple of the homework questions from last night. So of course you already had the answers, but I thought we took a look at has teen and then the two after that. So has teen is you want it to be true if one of them or more is in the teens. And so you could do it with just a bunch of if statements right in a row. So if A is a teen, so it's between 13 and 19, it's true. Else, if B is a teen, return true. Else, if C is a teen, return true. And then else, return false. So notice this pattern: if this, else if, else if, else. This else catches everything. And so this would work. Another thing you can do is you could kind of decouple them from each other and just kind of make a bunch of cascading if statements. Now, in this case, this else would only associate with this if, so just be careful with that. It's probably best to just delete that and say, okay, if this, return true. If this, return true. If this, return true. Else, if you get to this point, return false. This would also work. However, if you use the solution posted, notice that if you have a bunch of cascading if statements right in a row, it's kind of like if this is true, or this is true, or this is true. Notice how oftentimes you can turn a bunch of if statements into an or, right? Because all these are returning true. So that's why you could do something like Boolean result equals, equals this whole thing, right? So if this is true, or if this is true, or if this is true, the whole thing is going to be true. And then I could just return result. Okay? Or you don't even have to give this variable name. As the answer gave, you could just kind of say return this whole expression. And again, it's still going to evaluate the entire thing, and this is kind of the most compact way of doing it. Next, the lone teen one. So again, you already have the answers, but I just wanted to point out only if this is a teen or this is a teen, but not both. This is known as XOR, or exclusive OR. So one way to do it is to set A teen to whether that's true, B teen if that's true, and then you want to say, okay, I want this to be true if A teen equal true and B teen equal false, or A teen equal false and B teen equal true. Notice that the example, or the way they wrote it though, is in Java we like to shortcut things, and so instead of saying A teen equal true, it's most often written just as A teen. And instead of saying A teen equal false, we often just say and not B teen. Remember, exclamation point means not. So same thing over here, A teen, so not A teen, and B teen equal true just becomes just B teen. And that will also work, except I spelled that wrong. There we go. Okay, so that's what that means. Okay. Finally, the del one. So just how if you have if statements all in a row, that could often be turned into an or statement. When you have nested if statements, that can often be turned into an and statement. So notice this del. The only time we want to check the substring from 1 to 4, right, from 1 up to but not including 4, is if it's long enough. So I want to check if this is true, and then, okay, then I would go in here, and then if this is true, I'm going to grab the first char and concatenate it with everything after the del, right, because this is if del is there, starting at index 1, right? So what we can do then is just like we did in class, instead of doing this like a nested if statements, just change it to one big if, right? Because it's only if this is true and this is true. So I could just cut this and just say and this, and then just take out this if statement. Oops, excuse me. Don't need this anymore. So just say, okay, if it's long enough and from 1 up to but not including 4 is del, then do this part about it. Again, Java short circuit, so it's going to check this first. If this is false, it's not even going to go and check this, because otherwise it would go out of bounds. It'll just say, oh, false. It'll skip over and just return the str, and that will work. Okay, so that was 3 of the homework assignments, and of course you can check the solutions for the other ones.